You ever have one of those moments where the world just stops, and you're standing there, heart pounding, knowing something's about to go down? That was me, Kayla Jackson, 11 years old, standing at gate C-12 in Chicago's Midway Airport, clutching my boarding pass like it was my lifeline. My first time flying alone, headed to art camp in Boston, my backpack stuffed with pencils, a half-eaten granola bar, and a note from my mom that said, "The sky's got your back, baby girl. Just keep your eyes up." I'm a kid with big dreams and braids full of blue beads, but that day, I was just trying to get on a plane without my heart jumping out of my chest. The gate agent, Susan Harper, mid-50s, tight bun, lipstick so red it could stop traffic. She looked at me like I'd wandered into the wrong movie. "You sure you're at the right gate, kid?" she said, her voice all syrupy sweet but cold as a Chicago winter. I nodded, handed her my boarding pass, my hands shaking just a bit. "I'm flying alone, ma'am. My mom checked me in." Susan barely glanced at the paper, just squinted at me like I was a puzzle she didn't want to solve. "You got a guardian?" "Nobody just lets a kid like you board a plane." "A kid like me." Those words hit like a slap, but I didn't know why yet. I tried to explain me mom was already on the plane. She'd boarded early, but Susan cut me off, muttering something about last-minute types and how some people think they can just waltz in. Then, right there, in front of the whole gate, she tore my boarding pass in half. Clean, sharp, like she was ripping up a bad check. I froze, my breath catching, tears burning my eyes. "This isn't real, sweetheart," she said, loud enough for the guy in the Cubs hat behind me to shift uncomfortably. "You can't just print something off the internet and expect to fly." I wanted to scream, "I'm not a liar. My name's on the list." But my voice came out small. I didn't do anything wrong. Susan rolled her eyes. "Don't make a scene, kid." The crowd was watching now, phones out, some guy whispering to his wife, but nobody said a word. Except for Jamal, this young gate attendant, maybe 25, who stepped up, voice low. "She's on the manifest, Susan." I checked her in myself. Susan shot him a look like he'd betrayed her. "Did you verify ID?" "She doesn't even look 11. That's when the air shifted. My mom, Tanya Jackson, stepped out from the crowd near the security line. She wasn't loud, wasn't flashy, just a woman in jeans and a hoodie. But the way she walked, you'd think she owned the whole airport because, well, she kinda did. Tanya Jackson, CEO of Horizon Air, had been watching the whole time, blending in to see how her airline really treated people when nobody was looking. "Is there a reason my daughter's not on that plane?" she said, her voice calm but sharp, like a knife you don't see coming. Susan's face went ghost white. "Tu didn't know," she stammered. Mom didn't blink. "You didn't need to know who I was. You needed to check her ticket, scan her name, do your job. Instead, you looked at my kid and decided she didn't belong." The gate went dead quiet. Jamal nodded, backing my mom up. "Everything checked out an hour ago, I told you." A TSA guy, big dude with a buzz cut, tapped his tablet and confirmed, "Kayla Jackson, unaccompanied minor, first class, all clear." Susan's hands were shaking now, but she still had that stubborn set to her jaw, like she wasn't ready to admit she'd messed up. Mom didn't yell, didn't need to. She just looked at Susan and said, "You've been doing this 20 years? That's 20 years of letting your biases run the show." A woman in the crowd, some lady with a yoga mat, piped up, "I saw it all. That girl was polite, didn't deserve that." The supervisor, Carlos Mendez, showed up, all business, promising a full review, pulling Susan off the desk. Mom turned to me, knelt down, and took the torn pieces of my ticket. "We'll keep these, baby," she said, as a reminder. I nodded, still shaken, but her hand on my shoulder felt like armor. On the plane, I sat by the window, sketching the gate, Susan's face, the words "look closer" written across her desk. An older guy across the aisle, scruffy beard, leaned over and said, "You held it together back there, kid. My boy's your age. We talk about this stuff, how you gotta be twice as calm just to get half the respect." I smiled a little, told him my mom says we gotta be twice as ready. He nodded, like he got it. Mom was a few rows back, typing on her laptop, not for emails, but for a plan, new training, new rules, making sure nobody else gets torn apart like my ticket. Back in Chicago, she met with Susan, just the two of them. No firing, no yelling, just Mom asking, "Do you get what you did?" Not the policy, not the paperwork, what you did to my kid's heart. Susan admitted she'd seen too many scams, stopped looking at people, just categories. Mom didn't let her off easy. You don't get to forget this. You carry it. Weeks later, at camp, I drew a new gate, one with a sign that said, "Everyone belongs." I showed it to Mom when she picked me up. My new bracelet, blue and purple, made it myself dangling on my wrist. She smiled, tucked my torn ticket into my sketchbook, not to hide it, but to keep it close. That moment at the gate? It's a scar, not a wound anymore. But it's a reminder too, not just for me, but for everyone watching. So what do you think? Was Susan just doing her job, or was it something deeper? Have you ever been judged before someone even knew your name? Drop a comment. Share your story. Let's talk about what it takes to make everyone feel like they belong.